Stand, Pete. Stand there. Stand, Pete. Stand there, good dog. Speak out. Speak out. Speak out.
These dogs are absolutely marvelous.
Stand, Oak. Stand, Sam. Stand, Sam. Pete Wallago. Stand, Sam. Wallaga, Pete. Speak, Sam. Walk up, Sam. Walk up, Sam. Walk up. Walk up. Stand, Sam.
These dogs know every signal and obey.
Good boy.
What about the dog you almost killed? Tell me about him. What was wrong with him?
Oh, the one I used to argue with all the time.
Uh-huh.
He didn't obey. He was very headstrong and determined to do his own thing all the time. And I couldn't stand that, so he needed to have that problem addressed, and he wasn't interested in seeing to it that it was addressed, so I sold him. And as far as I know, the other guys seemed to get on okay with him, but he may not have been as demanding as I was.
Which one's that out there getting a bath?
That's Sam.
Sam is
a hunt away, which means that the sheep are barked at and it drives them away. And he's a part beardy breed. Oak here on the back of the truck. I'll call Oak over. Wallago Oak. Wallago. Is a traditional Wallago Oak. Is a traditional sit oak. Is a traditional black and tan hunt away. He barks as well. Speak, Oak. Oak, speak. Speak, Oak. Speak, Oak. Speak. That'll do. Good dog. Well, look at Pete. Pete's of a border collie type background. He's a heading dog. He doesn't speak. He doesn't bark. He uses his eyes and is used more for bringing the sheep back to us when we send them out around them. Pete, keep out. Pete, keep out. Pete, keep out. Stand, Pete. Stand, Pete. Good dog. Wallago. Wallago, Pete. Wallago, Pete. Good boy. Good dog, Pete.
They love their work. They simply love their work.
Yeah, they're good guys.
You're really going. As soon as the sheep see him coming, they know something's coming up, right?
Yeah, they sure do.
Look at him.
So the heading dog, Pete, goes running out very fast, and he knows instinctively to get around the front of the mob and bring them back toward us.
Huh.
So they'll come along, these merino sheep, they're fine-wooled merino sheep, and come through the gate into fresh pasture. There are around 270 of these breeding ewes, and they'll go to the ram in about a fortnight to superfine merino rams, genetically very, very fine wool, a premium for the Japanese and Italian market for that wool. And they'll lamb in our early spring, come the end of August. And we like to have the lambs weaned by the end of November before the summer drought comes on. When they come up a little closer, I'll catch one of them for you so that you can see the wool. They were shorn in late September, these sheep, and they'll be shorn again about that time of year. We shear annually.
The submissive rock.
How is it you can catch one? They seem so wild when they're moving.
When they're in a mob like that, you just use a bit of stealth and you have them. Very soft, white wool. The outside of the fleece is apparently dirty because of the grease that's in the wool, the natural oils, and the dust gathers on it, but the fibre is very white indeed.
Mm.
And soft, beautifully soft.
Really?
But all of that dirt will scour out or wash out during the processing of the wool. And that's about half the length that they will have come shearing time.
Really is.
Beautiful. She's a 6-tooth. 2, 4, 6. When they're born, they have no teeth. 8 milk teeth come within a few weeks, and once they get to around 18 months, they shed the 2 center ones, and they grow up. The following year, the next 2 are shed, and mature teeth grow. The following year, the same. Then, when they get to around 5 years of age, I think it is, they have a full mouth.
How old is this one?
This one is 6-tooth. She's had 2 lambs. So she had a lamb as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. And so she must be coming up to 4 years old. Now, girl, you just get right through that gate. Herbie.
Is that a typical sprint?
Oh, yes, very much so.
That's really beautiful. Wait.
September, October.
Wait a minute. How old are the lambs out there?
The lambs are September, October born, so they're around 6 months, 6 to 7 months. And they're merinos again, progeny of these ewes that we've just moved. The cattle are
Holstein?
Holstein primarily, with a little bit of Hereford, or Hereford as you would say.
I can see that. Is that your? Oh, that's a calf. That's a bull calf too, isn't it?
Yeah, they're all primarily bull calves, and they're being reared for the American hamburger trade.
Ah.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
There's one of the mothers. That's obviously not a.
We multi-suckle them. We've got 4 calves on each cow.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, we mother them on.
And there's enough capacity on a cow for 4 calves?
Yeah. These calves look all right, don't they?
Oh, they're wonderful. They're beautiful animals.
The oldest of the calves in here were born in September. The youngest were born in January. There are 3 over yonder that were born in January, so they're not doing too bad.
Why, since America overproduces beef, do you sell to America?
We produce the beef a lot cheaper, a lot more cheaply.
Because it's mostly range?
Yeah,
fed?
it's all pasture fed. And we supply the lower end of your market. Not because the quality is necessarily inferior at all, I don't believe. Although the taste is a little bit different from what Americans are used to because it's pasture fed instead of grain fed.
Open range. How many acres do you have here, Paul?
320.
And it's all open range like this?
Yes, it is.
You don't till any of it?
No.
I really like the tree lines you have around here. It's great.
You need them for the wind.
The wind.
Very strong northwest winds
Mm.
and southwest winds during the winter and spring, which
Uh-huh.
play havoc with young lambs if we haven't got them.
You lost a lot a couple of years ago, didn't you?
August '92, we had drifts to 5 foot deep of snow in this area here. We had a lot of snow.
That's unusual, though.
Oh, very unusual. Very unusual. Most people are not geared up for that type of thing. And most of the farmers around here were right in the middle of their lambing. And they were unable to leave their yard because they don't have four-wheel drive tractors for the most part. We were fortunate to be able to push tracks with our big tractor for some of the farmers and help for them to get some feed to their livestock, hay and silage and such.
Now, what's Pete doing here?
Pete's bringing up the rams and one or two odd-bod sheep that we've got running around. Most of those are slaughter sheep, but we do have a few breeding rams out there, and we're just going to check that they're sound of body.
How does he know what to do?
Oh, it's instinct and previous practice. I've told him to go out and bring them back to me, so he reads the situation as he sees it and makes sure that they do come to me.
Those are magnificent rams. Tell me about these merinos.
Merinos originated in Spain. They were exported into Germany and thence into Britain. They were brought through to Australia in the late 1700s, the early 18th century, via Bengal and South Africa. We in New Zealand have these merinos from principally Australian stock, and they've been bred primarily for their hardiness in dry and cold conditions, but also for their superb wool for fine garments. So they're primarily a wool breed. They're late maturing. They have a low body weight. They're not highly muscled, although the meat itself is extremely delicious. It's lean and it's fine grained. But primarily, as I say, they're for wool, and we here are looking to get as fine wool as we can through breeding rather than through nutrition. Fiber diameter is a function of genetics, but it's also a function of feeding. The more an animal is starved, the finer the fiber will be. But we want to be able to feed well, get good weights of fleece, have a high tensile strength of the fiber, but also to have that exceedingly fine wool, which is worth around about, depending on how the marketplace reads it, between twice and 10 times what carpet wool is per kilogram.
Can you have your dog bring the sheep, the rams over here?
Way back, Pete. Way back, Pete. Way back, Pete. They don't really want to come over here because we're standing here and we have two dogs on the back of the truck. But Pete's working them with his eyes, as you can see, glaring at them, staring them out, and he's the more of the evil, so they've decided to come over here. But they're standing, keeping an eye on him, which indicates that he's the one with the real power over them at the moment. They're not so interested in us at the current time.
If we would startle them, they would be then.
They may well be.
So they watch his eyes?
Yes. Yeah. They can't help it. They're magnetized to me. Yeah.
And every movement he makes determines what they're going to do.
Oh, absolutely. Every movement he makes, every movement we make it's kind of for every action there is a reaction, equal and opposite. only we can't sometimes predict what the opposite action is going to be.
Do you shear the rams?
We do.
It's a bit of a job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
These are big guys.
Yeah, they're big guys, they're strong guys, and the horns make it very difficult to do a
watch.
good job around the head.
Uh-huh. Not only that, I would think the horns would make them rather dangerous.
Well, awkward. If you
Awkward.
know what you're doing, they're not really dangerous, but they are awkward. Good dog, Pete. Are we through now?
Yes.
Follow go, Pete. Good dog. Get up on the truck.
Good dog. Good dog. Mm-hmm. Good dog. There's the inevitable Herbie. What did you do?
Tie with kiwis. Some remembrance of
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. We're at the top of, what is it, Christ Church Cathedral? We're looking over toward the Botanical Gardens. There. To the west. And a low mountain to the south. A very civil and clean city. In the square in front of the cathedral, there are always things being done, activities, jugglers, street speakers. And to the east, if we could see over the rise, we'd see the Christchurch Bay and the South Pacific. And to the north, where the city rolls out to rolling plains and then mountains again. Here in the bell tower are probably over a dozen huge bells just waiting to be rung. There are 155 of these steps in a circular manner that lead to the top of this bell tower. This is where we've been. The baked potato man and the fruit man. Ice cream is delicious here.
Okay, see ya.
Where are you students? Do you mind?
Yep. Hello.
Where are you students?
Sorry?
Where do you go to school?
Oh, Middleton Grades.
Which one?
Middleton Grades High.
Oh, very good. I spoke there yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, you recognize me.
Those two's the same.
Here in the Christchurch Convention Center, a beautiful place. There's a New Age symposium. Great deal of Hindu influence. These stones were of special interest to me. Just plain friends. Here in the town square in Christchurch is a lovely floral clock. Too large to get filmed nicely. It's evening, but I think it's such a pleasant atmosphere here. Very interesting fountain here outside of the restaurant where we ate. There's a statue of Captain James Cook, and there are people we happen to know. Still in the town square in Christchurch. The Queen who reigned the longest in the English Commonwealth. This is our final view of the new building site, and there's been a lot of progress. The roof is on, the corrugated will go on top of that. 2/3 of the roof is on the other side. The runway in the middle is cleared out, some of the bays are cleaned out, so within a couple of weeks it'll be finished. Goodbye. Here we are back in Orewa after coming back from South Island, and it's a gorgeous day, about 70-75 degrees. The water looks nice, but sadly we don't have quite enough time to go in. And we are sitting down to a lovely breakfast that
What are we going to do about
Dorothy?
this?
Yes, I have that.
and Rod
Yes.
prepared. Haven't, haven't we had some wonderful times together?
We certainly have.
Well, this must have been the
Haven't we
era.
been fortunate with the weather? We've been really blessed with all the sunshine.
Yes.
That's right. Well, I've got little pudding ones too.
Are you going swimming this morning?
And then little
I don't
Tide
think-
looks as though
I
it's
don't-
going to be high in about another 2 hours.
I don't think we have the time, and we've cleaned up already.
Oh, that's right. And also to have wet togs
Right,
maybe.
yes. It'd be difficult to get the togs dry again.
You always lay out such a nice meal for us. Getting ready to pack up and leave, right?
You are ready to pack up and leave. It's all in the back of the car, we hope.
Such a beautiful home you have here.
We love it.
People wearing those kind of things. Those little waist belt bags.
But I've never seen one just like mine.
No, and it's really top notch.
And I'm going to get North one. Stand out here. Come up a little closer here. So we can come up closer this way.
well, you better hide your legs down there.
It's our last visit here.
Come up closer so we get you more in
Where
the
do you want
foreground.
us?
Either in the sun or in the shade, not in both. We'll lose you.
Okay.
Thought I was going. Now tell me.
We are at Piha, west of Auckland. This is our most popular surf beach. We're close to Auckland, and it's very wild. It's remote because we've travelled over past miles of forest to get here. The sand here is quite black, much of it because of the magnetic iron ore which is in the sand. In front of us we've got Lion Rock, which is so called because it has something of the shape of a crouching lion. And you can see the surf building up out to sea and rolling in. They say that the beach can be very dangerous, especially if you swim in a place where there is little surf. It's where the surf is safe, and where there is no surf, it's dangerous. And that's because where there's no surf is where you've got the strong rip undertow. Australia, can you see Australia?
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
I see it right on the horizon.
You can
way
see the Sydney
out there.
Opera House over there.
Uh-huh. Very good.
Now this is the Tasman, right?
Yep, the Tasman Sea. From this high point, about maybe a mile or so from the beach, we can hear the surf pounding. This is the Tasman Sea. We saw Lion Rock, or the crouching lion, from the other side. Now we're seeing it from the western side. We were up on that hill there. The Tasman is known to be a bit more rough and wild often than the other side of these islands on the Pacific side, and it certainly is rolling in today. This is a favorite beach for Aucklanders. It's only about an hour from the center city of Auckland, and we're now off the peak holiday season. Oh, what a magnificent place. What is this here on the beach, Rod?
That is giant kelp. It covers the whole of the outside of that rock, Lion Rock, and the full size of most of the strands that are out there is something like 12, 15 feet long. It's very, very tough, it's rubbery, and it can stand the constant beating of those waves 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Is this something that some of the Orientals would eat? Is it an edible?
I guess they might, but they'd have to have tough teeth.
I see the face of a man there with his crook nose right there, mouth underneath, slot for the eyes. Wonderful. Well, look how long that stuff is.
One of the pleasant things I would do when teaching was to bring parties of school children down here and take them out to the end of that rock, but at low water. It would have to be dead low tide. Right now the tide is fairly high, but at low water you can actually get right out and around there.